Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about every single leftist agenda that Hollywood is currently pushing in the new Boys spinoff Gen V. I just finished watching the fourth episode of this show a little bit ago here, and I gotta tell you, man, pretty disgusted by it. Not to mention I had a bunch of fucking back and forth with a bunch of dumbasses in comment sections over the whole thing. And them being like, "Oh, what's woke about it?" It's like, what's not woke about the show, honestly? Like, that's where you really need to start, honestly, at this point, man, because there's very little that's not woke in this series, honestly. Or it can be considered like woke ideology is what it is. Which, for those wondering what I'm talking about woke stuff. What I'm basically saying is, multiple agendas being pushed. Obviously there's a trans agenda in this series. That's probably the biggest one of all of them. Then we have like various backdoor gay agendas and multiple characters. What's another one now? You basically have the one chick being bulimic like crazy to activate her superpowers. That to me is more like a body image issue kind of push they're trying to push at, which I'm not so sure that they're not trying to do that as like a way to be like, hey, you should get help kind of thing. But then again, it would be better if you actually had that like written more into the storyline of that character, which it's not. And I think that's the biggest issue because honestly, like from what that was showing there, it almost goes back to another agenda, which is the whole my body, my choice thing, because that's kind of what they had her more or less say in the one episode of the series. I forget if it was like episode 1 or 2 was what it was there, but yeah, that's basically like what she was telling the one chick. She's sort of like my body, my choice kind of shit, except she didn't say that exact phrasing is what it is. So you have that one. So let's see, that's one thing now. So you got trans agenda, gay agenda, uh, body image stuff, slash like pushing up bulimia and stuff like that. So eating disorders would be, so that's basically like 4 and 1 there. And like I said, the possibility of like the whole abortion thing, my body, my choice stuff. That's a fifth one. And then the biggest one as well on top of that is there's a lot of anti-white hate in the show for sure with the characters. And by that I mean essentially what it is they have a couple white characters in the series, but they're treating them as if they're the most broken things and the most like mentally ill things is what it is. So that's like 6. And then you have both a little bit of misogyny, but a whole fuck ton of misandry is what it is in the series. And especially episode 4 did that shit quite a bit, honestly. So yeah, you have at least like 8 different leftist agendas being pushed in this whole thing right now. And yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting, man. It really is. And especially with the fourth episode that I just finished watching here a little bit ago, like, dude, the misandry was out the fucking charts in this episode. And my thing is, it's like, what is with what is with Hollywood thinking that people want to see full frontal male nudity entirely? If I ain't known it, I think Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who were the two of the like exec producers slash writers on this series, I think they're the ones pushing for that shit. Is what it is, man. And it's basically, again, it's probably also them pushing for the man hate because I know that they wrote at least one of the episodes of this one of the season here. So, and then when you start looking at who's actually writing this stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and grab up the Wikipedia thing for it here, so we can discuss exactly who is actually writing this series right now. Actually, what's funny is here is people said 10 hours ago. It says Gen V just had the grossest scene in the Boys history. I don't know if I'd say that per se, because I mean, technically, it would definitely be up there, man. Like that's the big thing, right? Like there's like two very like this is one of 2 very disgusting scenes in this entire series, which what they're referring to, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say spoiler alert right now. They literally have this chick explode a dude's dick, quite literally. But then again, the boys also did something similar, but it wasn't just the guy's cock; it was the guy entirely. Which is that one episode from last season where you had it was I forget what they called it, like termite or something like that. But he was again like sort of like a um Hank Pym kind of character or whatever there, where he could get real small and shit is what it was. And then yeah, he literally like walked up into a guy's urethra, but he was doing a bunch of cocaine. He's like, achoo, and fucking like blows up the entire guy's body like through his cock is what it is. I would say that's a slightly more grosser scene than the scene that they showed in this episode. Like this one was actually like I would say honestly like I wouldn't really say it's gross. I would say it's more fucked up than anything else. That'd be the case. Because it's literally just like showing this guy's like dick becoming like super enlarged and then like, you know, it doesn't exist anymore after that then. And my whole thing of that is it's like there's definitely some weird shit going on there for sure, man. Yeah, here you go. Gen V's cock explosion tops even the boys' exploding penis moment. Again, I don't know if it does though, man. I don't know if it does. It's definitely in the same vein of things. Definitely on the same vein of things. For sure. Does it top it though? Yeah, I think that's up to the individual user to say that, honestly. But needless to say, like both of them were very violent, I'll say that right now. I don't know if I'd say that they're both like I don't know if I'd say one's grosser than the other, whatever the case be. And then of course you got like this shit right here, which is just I can pull this up right now. Go to Wikipedia here. Not Wikipedia, go to the Google search here. Gen V is a delightfully gory, queer extension of the boys' universe. This was what somebody wrote here 6 days ago. It's like, come on, man. And that's the problem right there. It's them pushing that kind of agenda when it doesn't need to be pushed. You know? And like that's my biggest problem with the whole thing entirely. It's just like the whole like trans thing like I said earlier, dude, with the whole character of Jordan and stuff. Like pretty much that entire character could just be a chick throughout this entire series. And by the way, the chick that plays that character is actually pretty fucking hot. And they're a decent actress. Like that girl is a decent actress. That I think her name was London Thor, if I'm not mistaken. Like she's a decent actress in the series. The guy that plays Jordan fucking sucks, dude. Legitimately. Like that guy's a terrible actor. From what little he's been in the series so far is what it is. Because it's mostly her is what it is. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. I just feel like it's definitely an issue there. And what I think is interesting, even like looking at the Wikipedia here for the series. So you have, as it says here, yeah, London Thor and Derek Leori as Jordan Lee, a gender shifter. So Thor portrays Jordan's feminine form. Okay, there you go. Fire blast of energy, and the other guy, it's masculine form who has invulnerability. That's what I kind of thought actually. Especially after episode 1 when they were fighting the dude, and that's another thing they showed in episode 4 too as well was like the whole like gender shift thing, and it was almost like a weird like bubble of like invincibility, I guess is what I call it, their invulnerability. And then it was when the character shifted to female then is when they had like some crazy energy blast shit they're able to do then. So it is interesting for sure, and that is one thing I do appreciate with that, because it could just be something where they would just be like, otherwise it would just be like, okay, so you have shapeshifting powers where you go from a girl to a guy, basically, or a guy to a girl, either way. And instead it's like, no, we're going to add some other shit on top of that is what it is, where it's like in one of the two forms they have this power, and the other form they have this power kind of thing. So, I don't know. The overall thing is, too, like, even just watching the first 4 episodes here, there's definitely, like, if you take away, like, all the bullshit that I've been talking about for the last 5 to 10 minutes or so, with all the agenda pushing and stuff like that, it actually at its base has a decent storyline it's going with right now. Like that's the sad part. Like it has like real potential to be a good show. It's just pushing like so many leftist tropes. It's like, what the fuck, man? And that's what I was telling people. I was like, dude, like the entire point of being entertained is to leave your everyday life and go into something else to be entertained, to where it's not pushing like various agendas and stuff at your face or down your throat or something else for that matter. And then, of course, you had some cocksucker come back at me and was all like, oh, well, if you're watching it on your own, you're pushing it down your own throat. It's like, no, I'm not, dickhead. I'm watching a show based off of another series that I happen to enjoy. And it's not that I'm sitting here wanting it to be pushed down my throat. I'm like, hey, why don't you cut the fucking shit and just go with a damn decent storyline is what it is there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest problem right now. So, anyway. But, let me see. Going back to see who actually wrote this shit then. Okay, so you had 3 people write the first episode, which was Craig Rosenberg, Evan Goldberg, and then Eric Kripke, who was the guy that actually was the dude who created Supernatural. So I'm guessing it was more like Craig Rosenberg and Evan Goldberg were the 2 motherfuckers who were putting all the because the thing too as well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was episode 1 had like when that Emma chick got real little and stuff like that. It was like her on some guy's dick basically, and I guarantee it was one of those 2 motherfuckers that put that crap in there. Is what it was. And then you got second episode, which is written by Zach Schwartz and Brent Engelston. Episode 3 was written by Erica Roseby. And then episode 4 was written by a girl named Jessica Chow. Yeah, Jessica Chow. So it makes sense thinking about it like this perspective, dude, because you would have like these kind of females then. You know, this chick right here, Asian woman, being all fucking misandrous is what it is, dude. Pushing misandry is what will be there. And the same thing with, I would say to a lesser extent, probably Craig Rosenberg and then Evan Goldberg pushing the shit in the first, I think it was first episode too, was where it was the one character that has like a pushing power to where she is literally telling a guy to go buy a Louisville Slugger and smack himself in the fucking dick every hour is what it was with it. And it's like, why? Why did that need to be a part of that series? Oh yeah, that's right, it fucking didn't. You just chose to put it in there, dude. And that's the problem with these fucking writers like that, dude. Is they're pushing like various stupid bullshit into something when it doesn't need to be in there to begin with. And that's the worst part of it all, right? Because it's not only that they're pushing these things, it's that they're spending the money on the budget to not only write that in there, but then act it the fuck out later on. Because you actually see them walking across like the quad of this university is what it is later on. And in the background, you literally hear the guy say whatever the fuck she told him to say while smacking himself in the fucking dick with a baseball bat. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's so fucking retarded, honestly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why the show is not anywhere near as good as The Boys is, honestly, for that matter. Because it's like, at least with that series, like, you know, yeah, they did some fucked up shit, obviously. You know, like having that dude that plays the Deep literally fucking an octopus or whatever it was last season. I believe that's what it was. Like, that was pretty fucking disturbing, honestly, in general. But then even in this latest episode there, it's like the one character just fucking like random holes. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's not funny, but it's also like a very serious issue when you're talking about the guy having a fucking brain tumor that's like causing him to do that kind of stuff. And you're sort of sweeping that under the fucking rug is what it is there. And being like, oh no, it's just for lulz or whatever the case be. And it's like, so you have like real serious shit that is an actual medical condition causing someone to do something fucked up, but yet you're just going with the fucked up part of it and just sort of sweeping the rest of the shit underneath the rug is what it is there. And that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what the problem with Hollywood in a nutshell is. They'll try to make light of shit like that when in reality it's all serious shit is what it is. And that's my biggest problem with them entirely is what it is there. So anyway, but yeah, like I said, there's definitely potential in this series for it to be like a really good core storyline. And the thing of it that I think is funny too, as well, is going back to the people that were, you know, sort of coming at me about talking about woke stuff in here, is they're like, oh, is it because it's a black female lead? It's like, well, in the first place, that girl is one of many leads in this series, honestly, dude. Like, I don't truly consider to be any of the single people in the series to be like the main star is what it is, because they're not, honestly. Even when you look at the main cast here is what it is. Like, there's no like lead actor, whatever the case be. It's literally, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fucking people as main cast there. And then there's a couple like baseline people that are the recurring characters and stuff like that. But yeah, like if I was gonna say anything, I'd say it's not just this Marie chick that's the main lead or whatever the case be. It's like her, it's Andre, it's Emma, uh, it's this Kate girl, and then it's also Jordan for that matter. And then in some cases, it's also the Sam kid as well for that matter. So it's like those 6, and then there's obviously the woman that's the head of the university there. That would be like a 7th lead character then. But yeah, I would say it's like those 6-pack of teens is what it would be then, or 20 somethings for that matter. I think they're actually 20 somethings more like it. But that's another thing too, by the way, that did bother me with the first episode of this show. So there was actually like a major inconsistency with the series itself when it came to timeline, which is they had obviously the start of the show, which is this chick discovering her powers for the first time when she has her period for the first time, and then jumping forward to present day, but they're acting with her in this insane asylum, so she's going to be 18 pretty soon. She's only like 17 now, whatever the case be, which would have made her like 10 in the previous moment where she was having, her first period forever is what it is. And the thing is, though, later on, she even tells the one guy, she's like, no, I was 12 when that happened. So they're actually inconsistent seeing themselves on that one because they're essentially saying that she's 19 going on 20 then in the show, or even 20 going on 21 for that matter, with it being, 8 years after the fact. And yeah, it's really fucking odd entirely. And it is something that did bother me quite a bit on that one because it's like, have some consistency on that one for real, man. But yeah, other than that, it's like I said, it has moments, honestly, it does. And I think it's interesting how you have, various. It's nice to see that they're shifting away from like the main, set of people and stuff like that and exploring like more people's powers in this series now. Because that's the one thing I thought was very interesting with some of these characters is like, you have like very interesting powers there. But at the same time, you also have like connections to either mental health or mental illness or both for that matter. And you're sort of passing that shit off in a lighthearted, like trying to push it off as a lighthearted thing or whatever the case be. When in reality, it's like serious issues, dude. And that's the one reason why I hate Hollywood so much is what it is, because they'll sit there and they'll push things as if they're jokes when it's like, dude, this is fucking serious shit. And you don't seem to understand that. You don't seem to grasp that stuff. And I'm talking to you, Seth Rogen. I'm talking to you, Evan Goldberg. You fucking pieces of shit who I know for a fact are active child molesters want to sit there and push this fucking bullshit agenda, dude. And then make fucking jokes out of everything when half the shit is not a joking matter. So, anyway. I'm not sure how many episodes are going to be in this season. I think it's either 8 or 10. Let me go see what Wikipedia actually says how many there are. Okay, it's going to be 8. So we have 4 more weeks in the show then, if that'll be the case. So it'll end on the 3rd of November then. Interestingly enough on this one, so going back to what I was saying about the writers on this series so far. So you had, like I said, the first episode, the pilot there, was Craig Rosenberg, Evan Goldberg, and then Eric Kripke was the 3-man writing team there. And then the second episode was Zach Schwartz and Brent Eggleston. Third episode was Emma Rosby. Fourth episode was this Jessica Cho woman. And fifth episode is going to be Lex Edness. Sixth episode is going to be written by Lauren Greer. Then Chelsea Great. And then finally that Brent guy or girl, I'm not sure if it's a guy or girl, is coming back around for the last episode then of the season. So let me check this person's name right now. Okay, it's a guy then. It's probably this guy right here, actually. That would make sense. So, anyway. But yeah, needless to say, it's like a whole thing. One thing I thought was real weird, too, about this show, so they actually had Jason Ritter in it for an episode. and it was basically him on like a TV, basically in this kid's mind and shit. So yeah, very strange. Very weird use of Jason Ritter too, by the way. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing if Hollywood wanted to do a remake. Actually, what they should do a remake of is Three's Company and have it star Jason Ritter in the role that his father portrayed, decades ago, and then have it be like two chicks or whatever the case be. Although in this one, knowing Hollywood, knowing the agendas they're pushing and stuff like that, it'd probably be Jason Ritter as the guy, some fucking trans woman, and then some gay dude as like the third roommate or something like that. Or hell, it might be like him and two trans women for that matter, like knowing their shit for that matter. Yeah, who the fuck knows, man? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me though. It wouldn't surprise me if Hollywood pulled some shit like that, honestly, dude. Where it's like the old bait and switcheroo kind of thing or whatever. So, anyway. That being said, like I said, the show was okay. If it took out all the woke crap across the board, like all the different agendas I was mentioning throughout this episode, throughout this last 20 minutes or so here, you would basically have a really good show. I think you could have like a 4 or 5 star series at that point if you just go with that base storyline of them finding out, like, obviously this, college uses the front to basically do like experimentation on kids and shit like that. But they're not doing that, unfortunately, and they're pushing other shit on the outsides and stuff like that to like fill the gaps of time is what it is. And so you basically go from like potentially like a 4 or 5 star show to more or less like a 2.5 star at most is what I'd give this. Because like I said, there's definitely like nuggets of good stuff in there, like very good writing and just very interesting storyline. But then there's just like random shit that either doesn't need to be there or it's just like some woke ideology garbage for no reason at all. So yeah, very just insufferable entirely. And like I said, even going back to, I don't know if I mentioned this in the first couple minutes of this episode or not, but like, yeah, like in this 4th episode of the series, you had the kid go find like this doctor, whatever the case be, and he's like going home to his family. Who is his family? His gay husband and a clearly adoptive daughter is what it is. And it's like, whatever just happened to a fucking family where it's male, female, child, or children for that matter. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't actually push that stuff and sell that shit as like, oh, it's a happy family. No, you gotta have it be some weird fucking trope like that nowadays. And it's just fucking pathetic, is what it is, dude, entirely. So, yeah, this definitely is not The Boys. It's just a very less good series in the same universe, is what it is. So, I look forward to when they actually bring back the next season of The Boys itself, though, because especially what's going to happen probably most likely this coming season, going off of last season. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there, is what it is then. So, either way, it is what it is. But like I said, the fact that we only have 4 more episodes of this show, I'll definitely keep watching. I really wish they just dropped everything at once. That's the one thing that does piss me off by Amazon Prime is what it is, because they'll sit there and drop like the first 3 on the first day or whatever, and then it'll go like week to week to week to week after that. So it's like, no, dude, just do what fucking Netflix does and just drop everything at once so I can just go and binge watch the whole fucking series and do an actual review on it. Then that'd be the case then. So anyway, but yeah, that being said, like I said, overall, I think this show has very good potential in it. Unfortunately, they're not allowing that potential to come forward because, again, it's bullshit ass leftist writers shoving their own shit and agendas into the fucking mix, and they don't need to be shoved into the mix, is what it is. And that's why it actually does bother me a little bit that the Hollywood writer's strike has come to an end at this point, because it's like, nah, dude, go the fuck away. We don't need your asses anymore. Give the fucking AI a chance to do the script, for God's sakes, and I'm sure they'd actually write something that wouldn't be fucking hardcore leftist trash, is what it is, and push like every fucking agenda or the damn sun is what it would be then. So, yeah. As much as I hate AI, man, like I think they could do a better job at this point, honestly, than real writers would, because all the real writers are a bunch of leftist garbage pieces of shit. Is what it is, dude. So anyway, but yeah, it is what it is. I'll be back later today. It's almost 10 o'clock right now. Uh, about 5, probably maybe closer to 5:30 or 6 o'clock, even for that matter. But yeah, I'll definitely be back later tonight. Is what it is for the Freedom Friday episode then, and we'll discuss some various other stuff here since we're gonna most likely have Corey on then. He and I will discuss more on the topic I'm talking about right now as well, for that matter, the whole agenda pushing and stuff like that. The main topic of the day for Freedom Friday Day will be Speaker Jim Jordan, potentially. Will be Jim Jordan becoming Speaker of the House right now. Has Trump's endorsement, obviously, if he would become Speaker. And it'll be interesting to see what happens if he does, though. But, yeah. It's what should have been the first time around, is what it is, honestly, dude. And I'm happy that it's possibly going to happen now, because hopefully it'll actually have the Republican Party get off its fucking lazy asses at this point and just straight up back Jim Jordan the first go around, is what it is, and not just be like, oh, we're going to have multiple rounds of voting like last time and shit. No, dude, fuck that. Have a single round of voting. Just vote in Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise or who the fuck ever there. Since both those guys have put their names in the hat, is what it is. Like, vote one of them into there and be fucking done with it at the end of the day. So, anywho. But, yeah, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this semi-review of Gen V so far. Obviously I give a bunch of spoilers in this episode. Didn't give everything away, obviously, because there's other stuff that is interesting that you should see on your own, what it is there. But yeah, there's definitely some gross shit in here for sure that doesn't need to be in here. Specifically, stop showing me other dudes' dicks. Like, zero fucking need for those scenes to be in this series, dude. At all. Period. Like, you want to do some fucking frontal nudity, dude? Do some hot girl, Have one of these chicks really stripped down or whatever the case be. And it's like tits and pussy both, for that matter. Since you really, fuckers in Hollywood really don't love to show that shit at all, dude. Like, we usually do like toplessness, but you'll never do like bottomlessness of females, is what it is. But yet you'll show me like some dude's dick all the fucking day, is what it is there. So, doesn't make any sense to me at all, honestly, man. Like, no, if you're gonna do like bottom nudity, have it be a fucking girl, man. Seriously. So, that's one thing that does bother me too about episode 4 of this show right now, because they had the perfect opportunity to show that London Thor chick completely topless, if not completely nude entirely, and they totally failed on that one. So I don't know if they just had it written in the contract where they weren't going to do male nudity or what it is, yeah, that she wasn't going to do frontal female nudity. Yeah, because it's a dude also playing the role as well. But yeah, I'm wondering if that London Thor chick signed the contract where she was like, yeah, I'm not going to do fucking nudity in this series or whatever the case be. And that could be the thing. And that's the one thing I noticed when it came to like other shows like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. If you notice the people that actually do the nudity in that series, it's always usually some background character or like some third-rate actress and stuff like that. And it's the kind of people that will never actually get ahead in Hollywood because they have these nude scenes in their past, is what it is there. And that's why the one girl in actually Game of Thrones didn't want to do them anymore after the fact, because it was like several seasons in then. And she was telling the writer guy, she's like, yeah, I don't want to do any more nude scenes or whatever the case be. And literally right after she's told him that, it was like the next episodes when they killed her character off the series entirely. So, which is kind of funny and ironic, honestly. But yeah, it is what it is, man. But anyway, like I said, though, be back later today. Hope you guys enjoyed this review so far. And yeah, Hollywood needs to fuck off with the agenda pushing and all these series now. Enough is enough, dude. Chucky was enough, honestly, in the last couple seasons of that fucking piece of garbage. I'm not even sure what the fuck this third season's about right now. Like, as far as I understand, it's like him trying to do like some White House shit or whatever the case be. And like I said, if they went up full retard both times in this first season and the second season of that show, first going the whole gay agenda and then going the whole trans agenda with the second season. So if they were going to go like full, off Republicans in the fucking third season, where it's like basically like a Donald Trump surrogate or something like that in the White House, and it's Chucky trying to kill Trump or something like that, dude, like, would it really fucking surprise me that the left would push political assassination as a fucking TV series now? Fuck no, it wouldn't. So I don't know if that's what it is or not, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was. So anyway, but like I said, though, I'll be back here in a few hours for obviously Freedom Friday later today. And then we'll most likely do Surly Saturday tomorrow night. Not sure what the topic at hand will be for that, though. But yeah, Freedom Friday, we'll be talking about the speakership. Most likely, if Corey's with us, we'll be doing another discussion here of the whole Gen V series and the whole agendas that we're pushing right now. Talk some 2A and stuff like that as well about various things. And then, just find a couple articles most likely to discuss about different things going on right now in this nation. So, yeah, other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one. See y'all later tonight for Freedom Friday, and have a good rest of your day. Later.